What is something that I can do to resolve a lot of conflict in my life to get along a lot better with other people? Well, several years ago, years ago, I was in a Christian bookstore and I saw a poster that had words on it, and it said something like the magic words. And I thought, I want to see what that is. And it was these words: I was wrong, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. And it really struck my attention. I went back and thought about it. I went through Psalm 51, where David was getting right with God, and he basically said the same things to God. I was wrong, I'm sorry, forgive me. God, I love you, I will serve you. Well, I found that if I would say these words when I'm in conflict with somebody, it has a wonderful way of resolving the conflict, especially if the person's upset with me. And if any of you are pastors, you know that people will get upset with you at the smallest things, at all sorts of things. It happens because you're an authority. The devil wants to bring division. You know what I'm talking about. But I learned to say these words, and when I was first married, I was young, I was selfish, I was stupid, I was insensitive, I was hurting my wife a lot and not even realizing it. And I found if I would say these words and mean them, and express mostly the ideas, expressing the attitudes behind them, so many conflicts would be so easily resolved. So, what you do, there's a conflict, you own your part of the problem. Maybe you're not the whole problem. The other person had a lot to do with it, or their response has been terrible. It doesn't matter. I'm responsible for my part of the problem, and I say to them, because of this, I was wrong. I was wrong. That was wrong of me. I was wrong. You express humility. It's amazing. It takes the fire out of the other person. It takes the air out of their balloon. Their voice comes down. Their emotion comes down. I was wrong, okay? I'm sorry. That obviously upset you. That hurt you. I didn't intend for that. That certainly was not my goal. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Now, this is a wonderful thing, because it puts the other person between them and God, where God convicts them, but they got to choose to forgive me if they're a good Christian. I only had a few people ever say no, but it really takes all the air out of their bluster when I say, oh, I was wrong, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean to say it that way, but I see how it hurt you. I was wrong. Will you please forgive me? Well, if they're a legitimate Christian or a legitimate person, their only legitimate response is to say, I forgive you. And I even try to pull it out of people. I'll say, will you forgive me? I need for you to forgive me because I want to be right with you and I want to be right with God. Now, let me just say this about forgiveness. When I choose to forgive you, and that's a choice, okay? Those words are specific. When I choose to forgive you, I'm making this choice. I'm no longer going to hold this offense against you. I'm letting it go. As of today, it's done. I'm not going to talk about it to you. I'm not going to keep bringing it back up and throwing it in your face. I'm not going to talk about it to other people. This is between you and me. I've forgiven you. It's done. We're not talking about this anymore. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to, every time I hear your name or think of you, I'm not going to think about this offense. That's gone. It's wiped off the board. I'm going to let it go and move on. This is how God forgives me. Ephesians says we're supposed to forgive one another as Christ has forgiven us. This is how God forgives me. This is how I choose to forgive you. So if I'm in the position of being the offended person who needs to forgive, this is the promise I make when I choose to forgive the others. Now, if I'm that person who's asking forgiveness, And actually, if I'm either one, you want to get to reaffirmation, where you can look at each other and say, I love you. I love you. It's funny, my wife and I had a little disagreement yesterday. But we've been married 45 years. We've been through, her personality is the opposite of my personality. She's an extrovert, I'm an introvert. She's a talker, I'm a thinker. She is like everywhere all at once, and I'm methodically working through things. And because of that, a lot of times we have conflict. But it's not any big deal. We learn to overlook it, or we'll say things like, well, you know, I said today, I'm sorry. Forgive me. And she's like, no, I'm not going to. She was teasing. But it was so simply resolved. I've had to go to my kids, every one of them, at various times in their life, and say, look, when this was happening, or when this occurred, or whatever, I'm sorry, because that hurt you, and I didn't mean for it to hurt you. Forgive me. And they always. Well, I had the same key church staff for 14 years. Same 5 guys together. We had 5 different personalities. We actually had a psychologist tell us we'd never make it as a team because we were so different. And we just decided we were going to be in unity. So we went through this process often. But we found that because we walked in unity, our church lived in unity, and we just never had any real conflicts at our church for 20 years. Magic words. They're not magic, but the attitude behind them are biblical attitudes that God uses to bring reconciliation and restoration. I wonder, who is it that you need to go? Maybe you need to go to God. Say, God, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Maybe you need to go to your mate, your kids, a church member, a team member. Maybe you need to go to your pastor. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Will you forgive me? I love you. I'm Dave Early. We're here to help you become a disciple of Jesus. We ask you to follow us on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to also help you become a person who makes disciples. This is something you can use. This is something you can teach your family. This is something you can teach your team. May God help all of us be peacemakers, that we may show the world that we are the children of God.